What double standard disgusts you? If you owe a company money, you will be charged interest/late fees/service interruption almost immediately after the due date. If a company owes you money, you might see it in 4 to 6 weeks/2-3 billing cycles. If you always arrive to work late, you're in big trouble. If work never finishes on time, shrug. No big deal. Apostrophe. This is infuriating for me in a sales position. I constantly stay late or even have to come in on my off day to finish up a sale. Because that's how I get paid. We still have scheduled hours, but me showing up 5 minutes late won't make a difference towards my paycheck because those 5 minutes definitely won't make me a sale. But they treat it like it's the absolute worst thing I could do. Thief pulled up lists for each employee showing how many times we've been late by the minute. I was told I've been late 8 times for a grand total of 15 minutes over the last 6 months. This includes from lunch breaks as well. And I was told this was unacceptable and put on a warning. This same thing was said to majority of our sales employees. But we get no praise for working over or in finishing deals. It's crazy. I had an exit interview. I was leaving to job that paid better and had better bennies. My boss said, "You know, you're late 5 minutes at least once a week." I said, "Man, if that's all you got, I'm the best employee you're ever going to have. Your former boss clearly has no idea why you do exit interviews." Politicians not following their own COVID guidelines. It has become rules for thee, but not for me. Right now in Canada, we're in strict lockdown, but a dozen of our politicians have been found vacationing around the globe. In other words, we can't bury grandma at a funeral, but these politicians can go work their tan. Thankfully, many of them have resigned in the last 2 weeks. In America, the politicians can barely get the words out of their mouth by the time they're breaking the rules. None of them ever resign either. Hell, in California, a city councilwoman literally voted to ban indoor dining and then immediately went out to eat following the vote. Here in Denver, the mayor made a statement about staying home for Thanksgiving from the fucking airport. Banks/businesses can immediately withdraw money from your bank account and apply all their disgusting fees. But for banks/businesses to give you money, you have to wait 7 to 10 business days for the funds to appear. When I leave a job, I'm generally expected to give 2 weeks notice, so the company isn't left without essential things being done. When a company decides to let me go though, no warning to start putting in applications or saving more money. You're just gone. Total horseshit. Not in countries like Germany. It's harder for the company to get rid of you than you leaving. Similar in Australia. They need to give notice. I think I had one where it was 1 month notice. But they got around it by just paying me for the month and not having me come in, as I could have been a security risk if I was disgruntled. Certainly didn't mind being paid for a month to not come to work. Business should do whatever it takes to get ahead. But if the employee tries to make their life better or find a new job, they are lazy and ungrateful. Those romantic comedies with the cliché beautiful and smart woman married to the dumbest duck of a guy who is lucky to have her. Swap the roles and see people flip out. At every Adam Sandler movie ever. The employee should give 2 weeks notice. Anything else is unprofessional. But the employer will actively obscure their intentions until the very last minute. My last boss had a nasty habit of, upon finding out that an employee was moving to a company we did work for/bought equipment from, he would call said company and tell them, "If you hire X person, we'll never work with you again." Then he had the audacity to tell me that it was unprofessional of me to tell him I was quitting day if that's illegal. Child predators. Both men and women should receive the same charges. Also, when abuse happens outside the family, it is the worst thing ever. But when abuse happens inside the family, people tend to say that it was not so bad or something. It does not matter where the abuse happens. It is still abuse. People should be held more accountable for their actions. Baking is for women. I love watching baking shows and seeing the creativity. I was recently inspired to make a father-daughter pact to bake something with my 5-year-old daughter at least once a week. Next weekend, I'm teaching her to make a checkerboard pattern cake. teaching myself to. Last weekend, we made homemade bread, and she has been asking for a slice of that bread with every meal until now it is almost gone. Women things are women things apparently, until it's a profession, and then it's for men. Cue all the eye rolls. Wealthy people don't seem to be accountable for white collar crimes like poor people who commit petty crimes. Wealthy people get huge tax breaks and can spend more money on themselves or invest to make even more. Investments are taxed at lower rates, so people that can afford to invest make even more. Meanwhile, those at the bottom get no wage adjustments for inflation, while the cost of everything else increases from inflation. Benefits and pensions are cut so the wealthy get rich from the profits as a result of lower pay and benefits. Corporations can move to tax-sheltered countries to avoid paying more taxes. The average person gets none of this and is paying more out of pocket. Look at Bernie Madoff, who went 4 years stealing other people's money and no prosecutions from the 2008 financial crisis. I guess it's easier to go after the poor, powerless and weak. And the amazing thing is that the elites or even middle class people will often shit poor people for being lazy or entitled, as if their circumstances had no hand in making them stay poor. It's one hell of an elite propaganda and it's ducking working. Benefiting from somebody performing a service while shitting on individuals who perform said service. Thinking of sex work and minimum wage labor. I have the perspective that if I'm paying someone to do something I either can't do or don't want to do, then I'm the one that is in need of help, and they are doing me a favor by doing it. If I don't respect that relationship, then they can easily say, "Now I don't want to do it for you," and I'm stuck doing the thing. I have a housekeeper come once a week while I'm at work. I'm so thankful and happy she comes. So of course I make sure I have her favorite tea and biscuits already on the bench for her, along with her correct pay. She is doing me a huge favor and should be recognized as such. I'm amazed at how many times I treat people I ask for a service to cute, handy people, car people, respect, and they are so grateful for it. I'm the one who should be grateful. They are the ones making my life easier by offering their skills and time. Thank you, society. It really is sad that showing common decency is not common. Like, you show these people who help you decency and they are doubled over in gratitude because it's so rare for them to be respected. I really wish more people like you existed. People who know how to make someone feel special for the work they do. I was at the park working out a few years ago, and on a bench was a couple arguing. The girl proceeds to slap the crap out of her boyfriend. She then goes for another, but the dude blocked her and held her wrist. The girl then burst into tears and questions why he hurt her like that. To myself I was thinking, wait, you can hit him, but when he defends himself it's wrong? Like, WTF. I'm a guy and blocked a few hits from my mom when I was a kid and she acted like I struck her, lol. I'm a straight male. I went to a gay bar with some gay women and their straight married women friends. One of the straight women was being basically sexually harassed by another gay woman there, to the point of being chased around the table, all the while saying she was married to a guy and she wanted nothing to do with it. The whole bar was laughing. If I did that to a woman in a regular bar, I'd get my ass kicked, thrown out, or arrested. A lot of girls who haven't experimented with women yet think men are trash, women are great, when it's really there's less gay women, so less women to harass women. I know multiple girls who felt they didn't need to be cautious with female Tinder dates and ended up getting assaulted. I wish I could spend one day talking to my mother the way she talks to me, sniping at her over every mistake, shouting her name from across the house and expecting her to drop everything and come talk to me, dismissing anything she says that I don't agree with by just saying no with no actual argument and expecting her to drop it. Me, logical argument with facts. Mom, well no, because I said so. How you can't have your opinion but someone else can have this? When did it become acceptable to threaten someone with violence or death when a differing opinion came into play? Edit. Damn, I didn't expect this to blow up. Really created some good discussion. I think part of it is sometimes people tend to wrap up their emotions or identity into their opinion. So when you offer a different opinion, it feels more like a personal attack rather than simply a different point of view. I've learned to use the expression "that's just not my cup of tea" It reframes the response into something less direct, as most people understand folks enjoy different flavors. Abusive behavior is funny when coming from a woman. I pointed out to my husband that in movies and TV shows, women get upset by a man's actions and slap him and no one bats an eye. I'm an older woman who grew up with a violent mother and I know firsthand the scars that remain from those acts of abuse. Over the years I've heard too many horror stories from male friends and in forums where they describe horrific physical, verbal, and emotional abuse from their female partners. Showing a woman hitting a man normalizes this cruelty, and it needs to stop. A woman with her kids is taking care of a man with his kids is babysitting. I went to the bank with my kids once, and I got hit with being Mr. Mom. I'm their primary caregiver. I get hit with that crap when I take my kids to the physician. I didn't bring a pacifier. When my infant got a shot, he didn't need one anyway, and the nurse says don't worry. I won't tell your wife. I snapped back and said I'm the one who made the damn appointment. My dad got this bullshit a lot too. He was a single father. A certain boomer rock star did a whole bunch of stuff to a girl aged 13, and yet not only did absolutely zero consequences happen, but people all over the world worship him to this day. Imagine if that had been some everyday bloke with his neighbor's daughter or something. He would have been absolutely crucified for far less. You're going to have to be more specific. A lot of famous rockers had public relationships with underage girls. Playing video games is a waste of time. Unproductive, and you should be ashamed of doing that in your free time if you're older than 18. In fact, you're immature if you do. But reading a book, watching TV/Netflix, going to a bar/club/etc. is completely fine and encouraged for all ages, well except bars and clubs. Why the hell do people despise video games specifically with such a passion? You're playing games when you could be something productive. Bullshit. You wouldn't say that to someone doing anything that I specified above during their free time, but you would to someone playing games, regardless if they actually were productive during the rest of the day or not. I think this will become less and less common as people who played video games their whole lives grow into adulthood. Why do men get pockets big enough to hold all their shit and women get fake pockets sewn shut or a ducking macro pocket? Is it too much to ask that I don't have to carry around a satchel like a peasant? Exclamation mark. My wife has me carry her stuff. I'm like a walking handbag. Ah yes, the man bag. I'm single so don't have that glorious upgrade available sadly. Rich people can abuse the system and no one bats an eyelid at large companies with taxes etc. But when poor people do the same they are met with absolute hellfire from those above them. Edit. Spelling. When the penalty for breaking a law is a fine, that law is meant for poor people. Apostrophe. Set limit fines sure. This is why we should have it, based on percentage of wealth. The US Bill of Rights specifically prohibits excessive fines. Yet a poor person can be stripped of a week's pay for a minor traffic or parking offense. I wonder if anyone's ever successfully beaten a speeding ticket on the grounds of the 8th Amendment. No, because to pull off a stunt like that, you'll need a good lawyer, and those aren't cheap. It being more acceptable for a man to not be in a child's life or take care of the child as much as the female. God, I hate this and no one ever talks about it. If a man abandons his family, the general consensus is well you know, dads leave, it's whatever. But if a woman does it, she's literally Satan. Know a lot of gaming knowledge and lore? OMG. What a geek. Know every member of every Super Bowl and World Series winning team? What a cool guy. My dad calls me a nerd for this stuff all the time, but he is very much a sports fanatic. I'm gonna start calling him a geek. Next time he wears a jersey tell him nice player cosplay. Making fun of men in comedy movies. Every father has half the IQ of his wife. I especially notice that in commercials. Every single commercial the guy's wrong or an idiot. There was even one where a dad orders takeout but suddenly can't pay for it, so his 7-year-old daughter steps up and pays for, and it rolls her eyes at him. Women make the majority of purchasing decisions for their families, so commercials are targeted towards them. That's especially true for fast-moving consumer goods like cleaning products, food, etc. It's unlikely men are portrayed as clumsy and dumb idiots in car commercials, tech commercials, and so on. Still annoying, though. Hey PSSST. Please subscribe and like.